Good morning, everyone. I'm back from Cabo. Yeah, buddy. Alright, let's do this thing. Let's see what the news has got going on this Monday. Amazon. Flash briefing.
Jamie, here's the latest from your flash briefing. In NPR News.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. Stocks opened mixed this morning after another big bank failure. NPR's Scott Horsley reports the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose about 70 points in early trading.
Regulators seized First Republic Bank overnight and sold most of its assets to J.P. Morgan Chase. First Republic depositors pulled $100 billion out of the bank in March, following the collapse of Silicon Valley and Signature Banks. The California-based lender never really recovered. As the nation's biggest bank, J.P. Morgan Chase had to get special permission to take over its smaller rival. First Republic's failure is expected to cost the Federal Deposit Insurance Fund about $13 billion. Later today, the FDIC is expected to issue a report on possible changes to the deposit insurance system. For now, insurance covers up to $250,000
Why don't we have
per
a state bank
Although
like
Silicon
in
Valley and Signature banks went under,
South
federal
Dakota?
officials decided to backstop
Only
all
one in the whole
deposits.
country?
Scott Horsley, NPR News.
Recession-proof?
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has announced that the Senate will hold a hearing this week on Republican legislation that would raise the nation's debt ceiling. NPR's Windsor Johnston reports the bill narrowly passed the House last week and is tied to deep cuts in federal government spending.
In a letter to lawmakers, Senator Schumer says the goal of the hearing is to expose the true impact of what he calls reckless legislation on everyday Americans. The Republican bill would raise the debt ceiling in exchange for gutting major parts of President Biden's signature climate change and social services program. Democrats, including the president, have repeatedly accused Republicans of using the debt ceiling as leverage to push for cuts in government spending. Republicans say the cuts are needed to tame what they call out-of-control spending by the Biden administration. Windsor Johnston,
Just now
NPR
figuring that
News,
out?
Washington.
Come on, man.
The lawyer for former President Donald Trump is asking for a mistrial in a New York civil case. Trump is being sued by writer E. Jean Carroll, who alleges Trump raped her in the 1990s and later defamed her. Trump denies the allegations.
Yeah, what's
Today,
new?
his
They've been
lawyer
doing
said
this
a
since
mistrial is
Cabo.
needed in the
Come on.
case because the judge hearing the case has, quote, made unfair and prejudicial rulings against Trump.
Really?
The city of Virginia Beach is under a state of emergency after a tornado plowed through the region yesterday. There are no reports of serious injuries. Philip McGowan was at home when the tornado struck.
Seeing trees down wasn't too rare, but when you just start seeing mattresses in the middle of yards and you start seeing cars flipped over, I mean, this is stuff in the roofs of houses just completely roofed off.
As many as
pretty
100
normal for a
Virginia Beach
tornado
homes
that
could be
touches down,
damaged. There is damage assessment happening in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. A tornado there over the weekend caused
Don't
a
you
lot of
remember
damage.
The Wizard of
and
Oz?
no
They showed it
serious
to you back then.
injuries. You're listening to NPR News from Washington. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is speaking to Israel's parliament today. McCarthy is siding with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a diplomatic tiff between the Israeli leader and President Biden. Biden says he will not soon invite Netanyahu to the White House over the Israeli leader's efforts to change the Israeli judiciary. McCarthy says he'll invite Netanyahu to meet with the U.S. House of Representatives.
But y'all think he's competent
Pope Francis
enough to
wrapped
run
up a
again,
3-day
so
visit to
that tells me
Hungary.
he's
He
competent
has urged
enough to be
Hungarians
sued
to open
and
their
not
doors
plead
to
the, "Oh, I got
migrants fleeing
Alzheimer's."
Russia's war
Right?
in Ukraine and to others seeking refuge. NPR's Rob Schmitz has more.
In his final mass of his visit on the bank of the Danube River outdoors in the spring sun, Pope Francis told tens of thousands of gathered Hungarians they should fight what he called the closed door of our individualism amid a society of growing isolation, the closed doors of our indifference towards the underprivileged and those who suffer, and the doors we close towards those who are foreign or unlike us. Among those in attendance were Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, an ally of Russia. Orban has held on to power through strong-arm tactics and divisive speeches where he rails against migrants and those in the LGBTQ community. Rob Schmitz, NPR News, Berlin.
Separately, Pope Francis says the Vatican is involved in a peace mission to try to bring an end to Russia's war in Ukraine. The pontiff would not provide further details, saying the effort was not yet
Russia
public.
wants peace, so
Francis spoke on his way
whose
home
fault is
from
it?
his Hungarian trip.
Who do
He says
they
he
need
is
to be
willing
talking
to do everything that has to be done to bring
Probably
about peace.
Biden.
I'm Corva Coleman, NPR News.
You are the public in public media. Your support, whether you donate to your local station or sign up for a program like NPR Plus, makes it possible for us to uphold the values of journalism no matter what. If you haven't already, check out the NPR Plus version of podcasts like this.
Skip.
And get more from the shows you love.
Skip.
In NASA news, college students in NASA's Minority University Research and Education Project, MOREP, Innovation and Technology Tech Transfer Idea Competition, MITIC, will pitch their projects during a space tank at Space Center Houston on Friday, April 28th. The competition will begin at 9:30 a.m. EDT, and the winning team will be announced at 1 p.m. NASA will provide live coverage as two Roscosmos cosmonauts conduct two spacewalks in May outside the International Space Station to relocate hardware from the Riskiet module to the NEO multi-purpose laboratory
you need
module.
to work on your pronunciation there, Alexa.
The Czech Republic is expected to sign the Artemis Accords during a ceremony at NASA headquarters in Washington Wednesday, May 3rd. This spring, NASA's S-Mode sub-mesoscale ocean dynamics experiment began conducting its final plane, ship, and ocean glider campaign to better understand the ocean's impact on Earth's climate. NASA has announced the winners of the 2023 Human Exploration Rover Challenge, HERC, with Escambia High School in Pensacola, Florida, winning first place in the high school division, and the University of Alabama in Huntsville, capturing the college and university title. The complete list of award winners as follows. In weather. Right now in Seattle, it's 51 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today's forecast has showers, with a high of 58 degrees and a low of 50 degrees. From NASA. College students in NASA's Minority University Research and Education Project, MOREP, Innovation and Technology Tech Transfer Idea Competition, MITIC, will pitch their projects during a space tank at Space Center Houston on Friday, April 28th. The competition will begin at 9:30 a.m. EDT, and the winning team will be announced at 1 p.m.
All right, Amazon. Off. Amazon. Tell us a joke.
Why are monkeys great at sports? They're born champions.
Oh, well, I guess the chimps are. Cool. All right. Everybody enjoy your week. Peace, love, prosperity. Oh, yeah.